I never expected my world to crumble on a Tuesday. Rain kissed the windows while steam curled from my coffee. Morning routines flowed smoothly: eggs, toast, briefcase, goodbye kiss, everything textbook. For 10 years, Amanda and I sculpted what others envied. Suburban dreams, laughter-filled dinners, occasional weekend getaways. No cracks, no whispers, just perfection. Or so I thought. That morning, Amanda smiled differently. Lips moved, but something underneath them trembled, something I couldn't place. Her touch lingered a fraction too long, like a goodbye hidden in routine. I ignored it. We'd been distant lately, sure. Life gets busy. Love doesn't always scream, it simmers. That's what I told myself. But as I drove to the firm, gut instinct growled. Unshakable. Not paranoia, not jealousy, intuition. That sharp, primal ache in the ribs that tells a man his castle's burning, even when the flames are invisible. At lunch, I canceled a meeting. Something compelled me to drive home. Not curiosity. Not suspicion. A magnetic pull, an itch beneath skin that refused to rest. I parked 2 blocks away. Rain now pounded sidewalks like war drums. I walked. Slow. Careful. Eyes scanning every angle of our pristine neighborhood. Lawn gnomes. Kids' bicycles. Amanda's car. Right there, in the driveway. No guests. No delivery trucks. No signs. Still, I didn't use the front door. I moved around the side, shoes soaked, jacket clinging to skin. Our bedroom window was cracked open, slightly. A decision, not an accident. Voices drifted through the glass. Low. Urgent. Not the television. Not a phone call. A man's voice. Amanda's laugh. It hit me like a punch I never saw coming. The laugh, light, flirtatious, wasn't mine to own anymore. I couldn't breathe. Through the slit, I saw them. Shapes moving, shadows writhing. Clothes scattered across the hardwood like casualties of lust. Amanda's hair cascading over unfamiliar shoulders. Her lips exploring terrain never meant for strangers. His hands on curves I memorized. Her moans, the kind I hadn't heard in months. My mind collapsed inward. I staggered back, choking on rage and disbelief. I wanted to kick the door open. Rip it all apart. Demand answers no apology could fix. But I didn't. I walked. For 3 hours, I wandered downtown, past restaurants we once loved, benches we kissed on, corners engraved with memory. Raindrops disguised my tears. I wasn't heartbroken. I was hollow. Worse than anger. Worse than sorrow. It was betrayal laced with humiliation. She chose him. Not once. Not in a weak moment. But passionately. With desire. With intention. When I finally returned home, silence greeted me. She was in the kitchen, pretending to stir soup. She looked up. Her face wore a mask. Rehearsed warmth, artificial routine. "Hey," she said. "You're home early." I stared. The words formed slowly. "I know." She froze. Spoon stopped midair. "What?" I saw everything. My voice was steel. Through the window. Time shattered. Amanda turned pale. Her knees buckled slightly. Lips parted to speak, but no words came. "I didn't burst in," I continued. "I wanted to. I nearly did. But I needed time. I still do." Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't mean." "Stop." I walked past her, every footstep echoing like judgment. I climbed the stairs, entered the room that no longer felt like ours. Her perfume lingered. Sheets still ruffled. Betrayal had scent. It smelled like roses and musk and sweat. I packed a bag. Amanda followed, voice trembling. It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. I turned. It meant enough to undress for. She collapsed to her knees. "Please. Let's talk. Don't leave. We can fix this." "Not tonight." I left. My keys jingled like a final goodbye. But as I drove off, an idea flickered in the ashes of pain. I wasn't going to disappear. I wasn't going to be the fool swept aside. No. Something inside me awakened, darker, colder, calculating. If Amanda wanted passion, secrets, fire, I'd show her flames. What I did next changed everything. That night, the motel room smelled like bleach and broken promises. Dim light buzzed overhead as I sat on the edge of the mattress, a cheap bottle of whiskey in hand, the bag I packed earlier abandoned in the corner like a forgotten version of myself. I didn't sleep. Couldn't. My mind played her laugh on a loop, the way it curled around that man's name, whoever he was. Her moans haunted me like music from another room I couldn't escape. I wasn't just mourning her. I was mourning the man I had been. The man who trusted blindly, kissed her forehead before work, texted her poems in the middle of meetings. That man was dead, and something else stood in his place now. The next morning, I did something I'd never done in our entire marriage. I invaded Amanda's world. Quietly, strategically. I opened a burner account on her laptop. I knew her password. A birthday and a pet name. Pathetic, really. In less than 30 minutes, I had access to her email, her text backups, her calendar. My hands shook not from guilt but fury. Not just at her, but at myself, for never noticing the web she'd spun beneath our home. There were hotel receipts, messages laced with desire, pictures, explicit ones. She was more alive in them than I'd seen her in years. Her face glowed. Her body language screamed hunger. She wanted him, not just physically, emotionally. They called each other names reserved for intimacy. Shared playlists, planned weekends. They even had a fake book club code when scheduling their meetings. She gave him versions of herself I thought belonged only to me. I couldn't confront her. Not yet. I needed leverage. I wanted to flip the script. So, I did what I never imagined myself doing. I found someone. Not just anyone, Isla. A woman I met years ago during a work conference in Chicago. Back then, we'd exchanged long glances, a few lingering touches, but I'd stayed loyal. Faithful. Now, loyalty felt like a fool's currency. I messaged her. Simple. Honest. I'm not who I used to be. And I don't want to be alone tonight. Her reply came within minutes. Where? The rooftop bar overlooked the skyline like a god surveying his city. Lights shimmered. People laughed. And across the table sat Isla, elegant, sharp-eyed, wrapped in a red dress that flirted with danger. Didn't expect to hear from you again, she said, sipping her wine. I leaned in. Things change. Trouble in paradise? I laughed bitterly. Paradise was a brochure. Turns out it's a jungle underneath. She didn't press. Just placed her hand gently over mine. Her touch was fire. Nothing like Amanda's anymore. Amanda's touch had turned into routine. Isla's? Pure voltage. One drink became 4. We ended up in her loft. She kissed differently. Desperately. Like she had something to prove. Her fingernails dragged stories down my back. Our bodies collided like storms with no intention of calming. I wasn't making love, I was unmaking pain. Every moan, every gasp, every thrust pulled me further away from the man Amanda betrayed. But the guilt? It never came. I woke beside Isla, her body curled against mine, and felt something strange. Not regret. Not satisfaction. Power. Over the next few weeks, I lived 2 lives. By day, I returned to Amanda. Not physically, but strategically. I made her believe I might forgive her. I let her cook for me. Apologize. Cry. She begged for a second chance. Claimed the affair was over. That she realized what she'd almost lost. I nodded. Smiled. But at night? I explored something darker. Not just with Isla, though she remained my escape, but with myself. I started tracking Amanda's lover. His name was Brandon. Fitness coach. Divorce. Smug. Obvious. The kind of man who thought protein shakes and motivational quotes made him deep. I followed him. Took photos. Watched him flirt with clients at his gym. I even struck up a conversation with his receptionist. Carefully, casually, learned he had a girlfriend too. Another betrayal wrapped inside mine. The irony? Delicious. Amanda didn't know I knew everything. She thought she was slowly winning me back. I let her think that. I played the role, quiet, wounded, hesitant. She started dressing nicer, cooking more, initiating sex again. I refused her every time. Not because I didn't want her, because I wanted her to feel the emptiness I'd lived in. Eventually, I made my move. "Let's have dinner," I said one Thursday evening. Amanda looked hopeful. "Just the two of us?" "No," I smiled. "4 of us." Her face twitched. "What? You? Me? Brandon? And his girlfriend?" Panic bloomed across her expression like blood through white linen. "I don't understand." "I think you do," she stammered. "How did you?" "I saw you, remember?" I interrupted. And I didn't stop there. Tears welled in her eyes. "Please, don't do this." But I was already texting Brandon. The message was simple. "Dinner. Our house. Tomorrow. Bring your girlfriend. I have something to show all of you." That night, I met Isla again. I told her everything. She laughed. "So this is revenge?" "No," I said. "This is rebirth." We toasted. We kissed. We fell into bed like sinners celebrating salvation. But even as Isla's skin warmed mine, Amanda's voice echoed in my mind. "Please don't do this." I wasn't sure if I was becoming free, or just another liar wrapped in better lies. But one thing was certain. The next night would change everything. Friday night came dressed in calm. Our home smelled of garlic and rosemary. Candles flickered softly across the dining table Amanda decorated with agonizing precision, like a soldier polishing a rifle before war. Her hands trembled as she laid out plates. She kept glancing toward the clock. 5 minutes to 7. "They won't come," she muttered. "They will," I said. And they did. The knock on the door wasn't loud. It was deliberate, rhythmic. I opened it with a smile so calm it scared even me. There stood Brandon, smug as ever, confident in a way only the blindly foolish can manage. Beside him stood a woman, tall, lean, sharp-featured, icy-eyed. Her name, I later learned, was Talia. Brandon's long-term girlfriend. Interior designer. Loyal. Unaware. Amanda's face drained of color. She stood frozen in the hallway, mouth parted. Brandon blinked at her, stunned. "Amanda." Talia turned toward him. "You know her?" He stuttered. She's a client." I stepped between them. "Let's eat, shall we?" We sat at the table like porcelain dolls. Eyes moved but mouth stayed tight. Only the silverware dared make noise. Brandon tried to lead with charm. "Lovely place," he said. I smiled. "Built with honesty." Amanda couldn't lift her gaze. She pushed food around her plate. Talia looked from one face to the next, slowly piecing the atmosphere like a bomb tech realizing they'd walked into a trap. I cleared my throat and stood. "No toasts," I said. "Just truths." Amanda whispered, "Please, not like this." "I think they deserve to know," I interrupted. "Talia, I'll keep it short. Your boyfriend has been having sex with my wife." Forks dropped. Brandon shot up. "This is insane." I opened my phone and laid it on the table. The screen displayed photos, emails, naked selfies, hotel receipts. One click at a time, I slid them forward. Talia stared, stone-faced. Amanda wept quietly. Brandon pleaded, voice cracking. "I didn't mean for it to." I silenced him with one look. Then Talia stood. "How long?" Amanda whispered, "Almost a year." Talia slapped Brandon. The sound cracked the air. She stormed out without a word. Brandon tried to follow, but I blocked the hallway. "Sit." He obeyed. Cornered. Cornered animals stop being predators. Amanda finally looked at me. "Is this what you wanted?" "No," I said. "But it's what you deserved." After they left, Amanda collapsed on the floor, sobbing into her hands. I stood over her, emotionless. Years of shared memories unspooled in my mind. Birthdays, anniversaries, rainy mornings, the way she once sang in the shower. "I loved you," she cried. "I was just lost." And stupid. You were more than stupid, I replied. You were cruel. I didn't want to fall for him. You didn't fall, I said coldly. You jumped. I packed my things that night, everything I'd left behind the first time. I left the ring on the nightstand. A symbol of a promise burned to ash. She begged. I didn't look back. The following weeks were unlike anything I expected. Freedom wasn't loud, it was silent. No texts, no questions, just space. I moved in with a friend temporarily, then found my own apartment downtown. Minimalist, cold, perfect. Isla and I continued seeing each other, but it shifted. Less about pain, more about curiosity. We spoke deeper. Not just about Amanda or revenge, but about art, travel, trust. She wasn't a replacement. She was a mirror, showing me what I had forgotten I could be. She never asked for promises. I gave her honesty instead. One night, Isla turned to me in bed and said, "So what now? Are you healed?" I stared at the ceiling. "No. But I'm not broken anymore." She smiled. "That's something." Then, one morning, Amanda showed up at my apartment. She looked different, worn, lighter in a strange way. "I'm not here to beg," she said. "I just need to say things I never did." I let her in. We sat across from each other, two ghosts sharing air. "I don't blame you," she began, "for hating me. I hate me too. I thought I needed escape, but really, I just didn't know how to ask for love." I listened, not because I wanted her back, but because part of me still needed closure. "I'm going to sell the house," she said. "Start over." "Good," I replied. "We both should." Before she left, she looked at me one last time. "I never stopped loving you." I nodded. "Then maybe someday you'll love me enough to let me go." She closed the door behind her. And for the first time, the silence didn't feel like loss. It felt like peace. Months passed. Time, they say, dulls the blade. They lie. Time doesn't heal, it buries. What truly heals is truth. Sharp, violent, unapologetic. Like the night I revealed Amanda's affair. Like every breath I took after walking out that door, away from the ruins of the life I thought was forever. But healing also comes quietly. In fragments. One morning, I woke up beside no one, and didn't feel hollow. Isla and I drifted. No fights. No betrayal. Just the slow, natural fade that comes when a chapter ends. She kissed me on a Sunday afternoon and said, "You're whole again. That's why we can't continue." I didn't argue. I watched her walk away, and for the first time since Amanda's betrayal, I felt something unfamiliar. Clarity. Love, lust, revenge, they all had their place. But none were permanent. All I had now was myself, and for once that felt like enough. Or so I thought. One evening, as the city bled orange and gold, I received a message. "I need to see you." No drama. Just honesty. "One last time. Amanda." I hesitated, then typed back. "Fine. Tonight. Your place." I drove slowly. Not because I was afraid of what she'd say, but of what I might feel. Would the sight of her still sting? Would old memories choke me? Would I want to touch her? Would I hate her? I knocked once. She opened the door in silence. Amanda wore a simple black robe. Hair down. No makeup. Just her. Raw, tired, beautiful in a way that made my chest ache unexpectedly. "I thought about you every day," she whispered. "Then why did you destroy us?" "I was drowning. I thought I needed a new ocean. But all I did was invite a storm." I stepped inside. The house looked unfamiliar now, emptier. Most of the furniture gone. Pictures removed. The scent had changed. Vanilla instead of jasmine. "I deserved the humiliation," she said, pouring wine. "You played your cards well." "I didn't do it to hurt you," I said. "I did it to show you what it feels like to watch something you love being used by someone who never earned it." She winced. "Do you still hate me?" she asked. "No," I said. "That would mean you still have power over me." Amanda sat beside me on the couch. I know I don't deserve to ask this. But I miss you, she said. Even your silence. Even your toothbrush beside mine. I didn't respond. She leaned closer. I miss the way you used to hold me after sex, like I was more than skin. Like I was your world. I closed my eyes. Then why didn't you just tell me you needed more? I asked. Because I was afraid you'd say no. Then you chose the one thing that guaranteed I'd never say yes again. She cried quietly. Not the dramatic sobbing from months ago. This was different. The kind of cry that tastes like regret, salt and iron. And then, in a moment I didn't anticipate, she reached for my hand. I know it's over, she whispered. But just once, can we pretend it's not? Silence. She stood, undid the tie on her robe, and let it fall. Naked. Vulnerable. Familiar. Foreign. I looked at her, not with lust but with mourning. Her body was still exquisite, but it no longer felt like home. It was a museum of memories, and I was now a respectful visitor. I stood too, reached out, touched her face. Beautiful, I said. But I don't belong here anymore. She didn't move, didn't cover herself, just stood there, shivering under the weight of my goodbye. I kissed her forehead, gently, tenderly, the way one kisses a gravestone. Then I turned and left. Outside, the air was crisp. Stars blinked, unbothered. I got in my car, drove nowhere, wound up on a beach hours away by midnight, shoes off, waves licking my feet. And I laughed. Not bitterly. Not broken. Just free.